From the US to France to Australia and finally back home to Great Britain, Playground Games redefines open world racing games every time they get behind the wheel. And now their most recent game, Forza Horizon 4, has been optimized for Xbox Series X and Series S. Here to walk us through the game on Xbox Series X are Mike Brown and Tom Butcher from Playground Games. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me.
Hey Larry, absolutely great to be here. Super excited for a console launch day. Can't wait to show everyone what we've been working on.
There's nothing like a console launch day, and I'm so excited that you guys could join us here. Now, a lot of folks have been playing Forza Horizon 4 for a little while here, but what can they expect from Series X and Series S? Because this is a pretty big update.
Yeah, absolutely. You may well have played Forza Horizon before, but I think a key thing to know right now is there has never been a better time to play Forza Horizon 4. The Series X update adds a ton of new features to the game, but I think the key one that people are going to be really excited about is even if you were on the Xbox One X, you still had to choose whether you were going to play in 4K or you're going to play at 60 frames a second. On the Series X, you no longer have to make that choice, and it will be a native 4K 60 all the time.
That's fantastic.
It's super crisp, super high performance. It looks amazing.
I mean, we can see it right here on the screen. A lot of folks have been playing this. Of course, this is part of Xbox Game Pass. So if you're a Game Pass member, you should be playing this right now. And when you get your new console, you'll just get to enjoy all these enhancements. Now we talked about the frame rate and whatnot unlocking. But what is this new generation of Xbox unlock in Forza Horizon 4 in addition to what you just mentioned?
Of course. So it's much better performance. We can lock in that resolution, lock in that frame rate, but we've also been able to take a full suite of visual upgrades and pump them up to the absolute max. So the easiest way to understand it would be it's a bit like running PC with everything set to Ultimate, but in a few areas it's even gone past what we've achieved on PC Ultimate. So things like shadow quality, reflection quality. I mean, if you look at the bonnet on the car right here, you can really see how crisp and how accurate all those reflections are on the bonnet of the car.
I want to point that out for a second because we've seen this in the past with some of the previous generations, and I don't want to give away all the tricks of developers, but usually when you see a reflection, it tends to be a mapping that is kind of fixed. But as you can see here, as you said on the bonnet of the car, this is real time reflecting what we're driving by. This is not just it's not just mapped on there, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a real-time reflection of the world around us. So it picks up all the environment, all the cars that we see around us. And I think that just as you can see, it's like a really quick, crisp, high quality. I think the thing that you kind of can overlook about it, you can look at that and you can see that's a really nice bit of technology, and it is very impressive. And I think Tom's doing a great job of keeping his eye on the road and not just focusing on the reflections there, which I think is a trap whenever you get into this view. But it's just the way it beds the whole scene together. It just makes everything feel like it's all taking place in the same world. It doesn't, sometimes how in games, certainly on older generations, things can feel like they're not really in the scene together.
Right.
But with reflections like this, and I think the shadows as well, which we can see now, and we'll get a look at as we play through, everything just fits together in the whole scene. Every single frame just looks that much more realistic.
I don't think I've ever seen a cleaner car on a snowy drive than this. This looks fantastic. Now, for those players, for gamers that haven't played Forza Horizon 4, what makes Horizon unique among racing games?
I think Horizon, although it absolutely has racing in it, that is a huge component of it. I think the thing that makes it unique is that we try and think of it as a driving game first, and we focus on the joy of driving. Yeah. So even though I would say we have excellent racing and excellent race routes, I think like what Tom is doing right now, where he's just driving around these vast open worlds, it's just such a laid-back, relaxing experience. So if anyone has even the slightest passing interest in cars at all, or just exploring beautiful places, then they're a really great game for you to just relax, sit back, and drive around and explore these beautiful places in hundreds and hundreds of cars. I think it's that.
I must tell you, Tom, I'm impressed because I've played a lot of Forza Horizon, and by now I'd be screaming through somebody's back garden. I don't know how you're staying. I mean, I know you're staying on the road because you're a great driver, but that's the beautiful part of the Forza Horizon series is that the road is there we go, is certainly part of it, but you can just go off and do stuff like this that you can't really do in any other type of racing game. That's just fun.
Yeah, it's you know what? Having a couple of hours just racing, sat here waiting to get on the show, gave me a little bit of practice. So I've spent my time spinning off the road already.
Yeah, there was definitely a few cars that he jumped into and goes, well, maybe this isn't the right car for winter.
It's a carefully curated list.
One of the things with Forza Horizon is certainly it's a racing game and you can race your friends. Will two friends on next gen be able to load into races faster, or how are you handling that?
Yeah, so if you've got two friends, both of you playing on Xbox Series X or S, and you're in a convoy together or you're in any kind of Xbox Live party, you will absolutely benefit from all of the super fast loading updates that we've been able to make to the game. I don't know if you guys caught it there, but Tom just swapped cars. We swapped from that Porsche 911 GT3 RS into the Lexus LFA. That load used to be about 7 or 8 seconds, even on the Xbox One X, and it was about 1 second there. So. All of our load times have been cut to, I want to say almost nothing, but I don't want to over-egg it, but so fast that you barely even notice. And absolutely, if you were both loading into an online race together, then yeah, you'd both benefit from that.
And that's one of the points I want to point out is that, you know, this is part of the Xbox Series X and S, the next generation architecture. We've got this amazing, this velocity architecture, which allows this incredible read-write speed from the storage device that's frankly is unbelievably fast. And I've been testing it for many months with Horizon and some other games. And load screens are now, as you said, are seconds, if that. So to see a game which is so incredible, an open world game like Forza Horizon 4, to see it load so quickly, being able to swap in and out of cars so quickly, I mean, that alone is impressive, let alone how well it works. Tell us a little bit about crossplay. How does crossplay work in the Forza Horizon 4 series?
Yeah, so I think the great answer to that is that it just works.
Yeah.
And Tom, right now, we are playing on my Xbox. We're playing in retail. This is my account. And all the people that Tom sees around the world with him, I noticed that there's no one on screen right now, but Tom is currently in a real live session. And these people, presumably, because the console's only just come out, are not playing on the Xbox Series X. All these people in the world with him are just other people either playing on PC or playing on a normal Xbox One.
Right.
So yeah, I think the great answer to that is it just works. There are no hiccups, no boundaries. If your friend's on PC and your other friend is on the original Xbox One and you're on the Xbox Series X, you guys can party up together and take part in all of the content in the game. Almost every single thing in the game is available in co-op as well, so you guys can just join together and have a real fun.
And also, I mean, there's also maybe some players on Xcloud, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, great call out. Which I've been playing on Xcloud lately, actually, and it's surprisingly good. It's almost become like I've probably put more hours in the last few weeks via Xcloud than via my Xbox, just because I can just play it while I'm sat on the sofa and half watching TV with my wife.
Right. Yeah. Just kind of go through some things here.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I should have called that one out. So PC, Xbox Series X, and of course Xcloud as well.
You showed the quick loading of swapping into vehicles, and here we are in this Jeep right now, and this is exactly what a Jeep should be doing. So you're doing a great job here, staying off the road. But tell us about the hardware features like quick resume. This is a feature we've heard a lot about in some of the previews and reviews over the past few days, but unless you experience it, it's really tough to explain. But maybe you guys can show it off here. I don't know if you're prepared to do that. But how does it change the Forza Horizon 4 experience?
Well, I think. Do you want to jump into Horizon 3? I think I've got it. This is risk now because we didn't know this was coming.
Yeah, I'm throwing. So this is live, so anything can happen here. So here you're loading a Forza Horizon 3.
We're going live. Let's see if Horizon 3 does a quick resume. This Xbox has been unplugged, so we might have lost it.
That's quite all right.
Okay, so I don't. Oh no, it is. It's done it. So yes, I think.
So you can see the quick resume in the upper right-hand corner. So it's actually doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's doing it. So I think one of the great same car. Who'd have thought it?
Oh, and we're on the Hot Wheels track too.
So I think just to go back to your question there, Larry, I think a few of the things we talked about here are all about keeping people playing, get you playing fast, get you playing with your friends as fast as possible. And I, like you, have been experiencing the console for the last few weeks and months, and I've just found that it feels like it respects my time so much more.
Yeah.
Like whereas you used to just not even notice that you'd go and boot up a game like Tom can jump back into Horizon 4 now, and you'd know that from this point you probably had 2 minutes before you were going to be in the game. So you'd have your phone out, you'd be checking Twitter, checking Reddit, maybe you'd even go and get a drink or something while you're waiting for the late game to get in there.
Right.
But now from clicking it from the other game to being in the gameplay, it's down to about 15 or 20 seconds, and it just feels like it. Oh, I didn't click resume. What a perfect opportunity for us to demonstrate just how quick the game loads from. Skip that. Unfortunately, Horizon 4 for some reason didn't quick resume there when we jumped into Horizon 3. Not sure what that is, but it's a perfect opportunity for us to kind of demonstrate that point I was just saying about how much more it respects your time.
Yeah.
So our load from dash into game used to be about 140 seconds. And now from a cold boot, so you're not using quick resume, going into the game, it's down to about 40 seconds, which we'll see now. There you go. That looks might have even been faster than that.
Yeah, there we go.
Welcome back,
Look at this.
I think it really enables those social moments where you have a friend like message you, hey, do you want to play some Horizon 4 or something else? And you can quickly jump into that and just be in the game with them.
Yeah.
And we're back in the same car
again.
Yeah. Love this car.
and it just works so well with Game Pass as well, because I think with Game Pass, you're much more likely to have a few games that you're currently jumping in and out of and playing, or you might well have friends that are playing Ghost Recon. And so, you want to have, Rainbow Six, I've been playing there. So you might have some friends in Rainbow Six, hey, should we jump into Forza? And then within a few seconds, you're all playing this new game. I think it just feels like the whole experience is respecting you as a gamer that much more and giving you that much more time playing the games you love and not sat around waiting.
What we're seeing some of the beautiful vistas here, the reflections. We saw the bonnet earlier, and we saw some snow as we loaded up here. What are some of the updates that you've added here that will affect details in the environment that are enabled by this hardware?
Yeah. So, like I said earlier. And I don't want this to be the default answer to all of these related questions, but it's a bit like you're playing on PC Ultra. So every single asset that you see in the environment, like you can see these little bits of bush and grass here, those trees. We've been able to increase the level of detail on all of those items as far out as you possibly can, really, so that even those very, very distant objects, those very distant trees, are actually still really full of luster. They're really high quality. They're still able to cast really detailed shadows. And that's something that you may not have noticed in games last gen, that like stuff that's a little bit further away from the camera isn't usually quite as high detail. Right. But once you kind of flick that switch and you've done it, the whole image just sits together that much more. And as I say, it then feeds into other systems like lighting and shadows, and everything is able to just be that much more authentic and realistic.
And it's also important to point out that, regardless of whether you have Xbox One, Xbox Series X or S, with smart delivery, you're going to get the best version of whatever hardware you're running it on. Our systems are going to make sure that you have that best version. So that's what's cool. So you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to make sure, just play and drive off-road and have fun. I want to talk to you about, we're seeing a little bit of winter here, but how will the new hardware change the look of some of the game from season to season? Because Horizon is all about the season of the game, summer and winter, spring and fall. How does that work?
Right, Larry. Well, I think it's a perfect opportunity now for Tom to jump into a race. In fact, it's a perfect opportunity for us to do an entire cross-map load. So if we fast travel over there, this used to probably be around 30 to 40 seconds. That was about 3 seconds.
Wow.
So first of all, we managed to travel completely across the map in only a few seconds.
Yeah.
It's in Dropline Custom. Yeah, you do that one. So we're going to have to use a blueprint event, which is like a custom-made event, so that we can switch seasons, because normally the game tries to keep you in there. So again, now this is one of our worst loading scenarios, when you're having to change from winter into one of the other seasons, usually around a minute and a half. I didn't time that one. Probably around 10 seconds.
Very sure.
Right. I wish seasons changed that quickly for real.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing that people probably experience that often, because the season lasts a week,
sure.
And so you'd only have to really experience that change once a week. But it's still great that we've been able to make that improvement. So now we're looking at Tom taking on this race in summer. He told me he's picked this car because it'll make light work of this route. So let's hold him to that and see if he can get the win.
Big pressure.
I mean, you can certainly see some more of the detail. We've talked about the reflections. The sun, obviously, in summer is different. The lighting is different. You can see it in the distant trees here, kind of the shadowing. There's all sorts of nuances that, again, it's a series of little things in some games that will add up to just an overall crisper experience. And one of those, of course, is 4K 60. Tell us more about what that difference means for gamers. You talked about it at the beginning of the interview.
Yeah. So. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Larry. I think that, and I'm careful too much not to to complain about the experience of the previous consoles, because a few weeks ago I loved my Xbox One X and thought that it was absolutely brilliant playing this game at 60 frames a second on it. But I can only do that at 1080p, and I had to, always had to make that choice, make that trade-off, just because that was the technology of our time. But fortunately, we are now no longer limited by that technology, and you don't have to make that choice. You can get 4K and 60 frames a second at the exact same time, every frame. It's super smooth, super high quality. And yeah, it's with the addition of everything else we've just described. So massively increased shadow quality, massively increased reflection quality. Just every single frame just has that much more luster, that much more quality, that much more realism to it.
From winter to summer here, we've traveled, we've gone all the way across the map, we've changed seasons, we've changed into multiple vehicles, we even changed games, so it's been quite a demo you guys have been giving us. Tell us, do you have anything else you want to tell us before we let you go?
Yeah, should we jump into the spring showcase?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that was a little bit of summer. We'll show a little bit of spring as well, just because it gives us a bit of rain, a bit of wet mud, which again allows us to really see all those improvements. So, yes, that was a load back into winter for no reason, just so we can load straight out of it.
We're gonna wander through winter.
I think that is I guess a thing to note, isn't it? That the amount of jumping in and out of different activities that we've done here would have, in normal scenarios, made for a pretty poor demo, just for the amount of time that we would have been sat watching the load.
Right.
So I think one thing we will mention is you check our lady there, who is my character.
Yep.
You can just about see under her jacket that Xbox Series X t-shirt. So when we've had a quick look at this race, we'll show people how they can get their hands on that as well.
All right, here we go. Great looking car.
God, no, I didn't practice this one just before that.
This one's actually quite difficult as well, so don't worry, we won't go right to the end of it, so we won't have to embarrass you by losing to the right.
So this year we're racing the motorcycles.
Yes, that's right. And one of the cool things we can see in this particular thing is we've talked so much about frame rate, about resolution, about shadows, about reflections. One of the great things we see here is our improved particle systems. So you have these flares attached to the back of the bikes. The plumes come off those are able to be that much more thick and realistic. Every time that we see Tom's car drop through a puddle, it's splashing up more higher quality water particles than it could have done previously. So again, just as you asked before about what effect does it have on different seasons, I think this is just an example of in spring where it's really wet. We get to see you skip the puddle. You know, I'm trying to show the
He's
puddle.
avoiding the puddles.
I'm weighing up showing off the game versus embarrassing myself.
There you go. You just get a much more realistic, a much more authentic reaction from those puddles.
Oh, it's fantastic. Now, you guys were showing the shirt a little bit earlier. How do folks get that shirt?
Yeah, do you want to quit out of this before you lose and embarrass yourself? And
I've got to thread the needle.
I feel like he's doing so well, he doesn't want to quit. I know the feeling.
Had a good start.
It's rare, and I know it's been captured on camera as well.
Yeah, so we dropped back in. So
a moment ago, you were showing that your character had a nice shirt.
Do you want to tell us about it, Tom?
Yeah. Okay. So the Series X T-shirt is available to all players. You don't have to have the Series X, but it certainly helps. And you can access that by going to one of your player houses. Just find this one conveniently in the forest here.
Kingfisher Cottage. Now this could be for any of your player house. You don't have to be in Kingfisher Cottage. You're not raiding somebody else's closet.
No. And you head to customize character. We put a jacket on, but we'll take that off in a moment. And then head to tops, and there it is. It'll be unlocked for everyone, and you can just select it and enjoy a summery Xbox Series X T-shirt.
And that's fantastic. And that's again for anybody who has Forza Horizon 4. And if you have Game Pass, you've already got it. If you don't have Game Pass, sign up. If you just want to buy the game, that's fine too. But everybody gets access to this. It looks fantastic. The game is amazing. Forza Horizon 4, again, optimized for Xbox Series X and S. Gentlemen, thank you for your time today. Thanks for coming on the stream. But with the holidays coming up, you got to have something else that Forza Horizon fans can look forward to.
Yeah, that's right. I think I said right at the top that there's never been a better time to jump in and play Forza Horizon 4, and that is absolutely true. I don't want people to think that they played it when it came out back in 2018 and that they've seen all it has to offer, because we've still been working on it and releasing monthly updates every single month. Since then, there's new cars coming. They've added hundreds of new cars since launch. There's loads of new features, loads of new activities, and we are absolutely not done yet. We have some very, very exciting things still to come this year. So I would tell people to watch this space and keep an eye on all things Forza, because we've got some very exciting updates for the end of the year. All
right, Mike Brown, Tom Butcher from Playground Games. Thank you, gentlemen. It's always great to see you guys, and keep up the great work over there on Playground Games.
Thanks very much, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.